Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey collectors, it's Steven here, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you who are tuning in at home, and if you watch it a bit after, that's okay too. I do wish you some warm wishes. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newest Figura Obscura release, and today we're going to be taking a look at the ghost of Jacob Marley. It came out in early December of 2023, and this will be the exclusive one available through Horsemen directly. There may be a future retailer appreciation wave that they have, as they like to call them, which may have some paint differences, accessory changes, so on and so forth, but we are taking a look at the one that was available directly through them. Usually with these releases, I love every single one, and they bring their own fantastic spin on the holiday and collection. So does this one continue that trend, especially with the holiday season and them really getting the grasp on how to make things special, or is this going to be the first dud in the lineup? And should we take a look at the ghosts of Christmas past? Hint, hint. Let's take a look to see whether or not he's going to be worth adding into your collection. When it comes to the looks, I would say that it's kind of split down the middle. My particular unit, so that does color my opinion, is it's got a lot of quality control stuff going on, but I do have to appreciate what they were able to do. So in terms of quality control for my particular unit, the cloth tie or the bandage around his head, that is actually made of a softer plastic, and that is actually already starting to bend, and that causes the white paint on it to crack. When we get to the macro photography, you can actually see a few scuffs, which that's the reason why. The scarf around his neck, the part that sits just above his chest, that actually scraped up against the window in the box, and that caused a few rubs, which isn't great. And I will say that the translucent plastic, when we get down to the feet, you'll see this more in the articulation section and what I was talking about, but to get pictures for this section was a pain because the joints are loose, and this does tie into the looks, but when we get to, practicality, in my experience, we do have the loose joint experience, and then also longevity. Will the joints crack over time? The answer is, in my experience, again, yes, it's just a matter of when, not if. But what I will say good job on, and kudos, is definitely going to have to be experimenting with this piece. We do have the nice gradient, the cascade, if you will, effect of the translucent jacket, the coat, which is really cool and nice to see executed. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before, and admittedly, though I am against the implementation of it, it is still cool to see how they were able to get the legs, the boots, to transfer on over to the translucent plastic. It's really neat to see there. The paint for the face is done relatively well. The blue that is used for the coat is rather consistent with the arms. We do have the forearms and the buttons and the blues that are used there. All look great. Overall, I do think that there are some setbacks here for Jacob, but I do think it's split down the middle as a bit of a mix. The last part that I want to mention here is that some parts of the figure do look like there is a bit of a brown dusting to it. I don't know if that's meant to be a part of the figure, but it's there. I mean, I wash my hands before I ever do reviews and stuff to get the oils off, so I don't know. Drop in the comments down below if yours have it. For articulation, I think overall you pretty much know what to expect, but there are a few points of articulation that I'm really concerned about when it comes to longevity, and then also loosey-goosey. Yes. All right, so the head is going to be on a ball joint, and that is about the extent of the range of movement there. I'll go ahead and I will actually pop it off so you can see what's going on. It is just a straightforward ball joint. I will say, I'm going to talk about a hint to get the joints to work. This neck piece does plug in, and you can, if needed, pop it out. Well, it doesn't want to pop out now. I did. After I heated the figure up, I'll tell you why you may need to do that. So yes, for the default head, the articulation is somewhat limited, but I mean, you can get Jacob to, look around in basic directions, if you will. For the arms, they do plug in on pegs, and now the joints have returned to being stiff. So they do swivel around, like so, and then there are hinges, so this way you can raise and lower the arms. Don't know why this one is not being as cooperative now, but it is what it is. You saw the range of movement. They both have the same. We do have single hinge elbows that do plug in on pegs, so we do get basically a bicep swivel hidden there. And then we do get the single hinge, a little less than 90, but nevertheless. For the wrists, they are going to plug in on pegs, and then there is going to be a hinge. So you will have to rotate the swivel and then move the hinge. But as you can see here, do be careful, because as you move the hinge around, you will have some paint that flakes off. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Okay. Unfortunately, that can be a bit of an industry standard, so just keep that in mind. We do have a ball jointed waist, which provides us some pretty solid movement, which is good. And thankfully, the jacket, the coat, whatever you want to call it, is made of a softer material like we kind of talked about. So that doesn't really hinder the articulation too much, considering the general articulation scheme and engineering of Mythic Legion style figures. So you're pretty good there. You know, we can look up about that far, down, twist, and turn, so that's good. Let's go ahead and move this up a little bit so you can see the hip design, wherein we do have your usual swivel and hinge style for the hips of a Mythic Legion Figura Obscura figure. So we can kick out to the side about that far, right? And then kick forward and back about that far. You can see that there is a cutaway for a thigh swivel, which is really cool. I like that. We do have single hinge knees, which is good for what we have. There we go. They do feature swivels as well. And then what I alluded to at the beginning, we do have the translucent plastic feet. So the articulation here, we do have the ankles, which plug into the bottom of the leg, which do give us swivel movement. Whee! Hinge up and down, and then we have swivels for ankle rocker movement. So first and foremost, these joints were super duper loosey-goosey out the box. I mean, these things are, I can't trust these. He will need a dedicated support stand if he does go up on the shelf. Of course, he'll be floating anyway, but regardless, he will need a support stand for that. Second, I do not trust translucent plastic as far as I can throw it. I have had plenty of figures break and crack over the years that use translucent plastic, especially at joints. I had the Robot Spirits Ava Unit 1 Night Combat version. Her ankle joints actually cracked. The Antiverse Gypsy Danger from NECA, that one, it had a whole bunch of cracks and it fell apart literally overnight. I do have some video evidence of me continuing the destruction, and I did that. Yeah, I have plenty of Tamashi stage support arms that have broken over the list goes on. So I'm very worried about this, and as well as this, as it keeps moving, whether or not that's going to hold up, it's going to tear, or if the color of the plastic is going to change over time. I don't know. Maybe the four horsies can talk about that in some way and guarantee us that this will be fine. But nevertheless, the loose joints at minimum is upsetting to me. Now, for the other joint tolerances, this guy was basically a statue out of the box. Again, aside from this. So if you are having a difficult time moving any joints and they're stuck, use heat to get them unstuck and you can move them around. If you have anything that's still tight after, you can use a lubricant. I have a video to help you decide what you need to do. But if you're having a hard time, like here, raising the arm up, that's more so a stuck, not tight joint. So make of that what you will. All right, accessories time. An alternate head sculpt, we are going to get 2 door knockers, which actually mimic the head sculpts. We are going to get 3 extra alternate sets of hands. We are going to get 6 extra keys, which are all going to be multiples of the same. And then we're going to get a corset, which features some stuff to keep Jacob locked up. And we'll go over those pieces. So for the alternate head part, we do get a screaming head, okay, or yelling, whatever you would prefer. And this is actually, I find it more comical than scary. So if you like to do meme pictures, I think that this may be up your alley and down your gutter. There is a secret that will be at the end, and I'll go ahead and timestamp it for you. It may or may not be related to a head part. When it comes to the door knockers, unfortunately, I can't really use these in my current setup, so I'm just going to show you what they look like. There is a hole on the back of them if you have a nail, if you have a thumbtack, or if you have a little small wall hanger. Yeah, you can just use that and you can hang this up. If you have any of the NECA like TV accessories, it's going to be the same size hole. Okay? With his shackles, or corset if you would like to call it, like I do, he is going to come with the cash boxes, ledgers, the books. He's going to come with a few locks that are on there, as well as keys that are intertwined in there. Now, what I will say is the easiest way to do this is to pop whichever head you have on off. And since Mythic Legions, those figures are known for interchangeability, the arms are easy to pop off, especially if you heat them up. So just pop the arms off, slide the brace for the body on over, and just pop everything back on. You'll be good to go. Here's some macro photography for everything, and we're going to go ahead and start with the individual parts. Now, I will say for all of the little boxes, the top does come off of them. So if you did want to remove the boxes entirely and just have the lids, you could do that. Or if you wanted to store stuff in there, you could as well. The safe does open and close, but we'll talk about what that looks like at the very end, because again, there's a secret accessory, but chances are everybody knows about it at this point. Now, when we take a look at what chains are there and what the keys are and what the locks and what the actual shackle chest brace thing looks like, it is pretty neat. I will say that it has a lot of thought put into it, and it is pretty cool, but I will note that when you take a look at the one that's going to be basically by his right hip, the bottom loop there is nothing that is supposed to attach there. So just keep that in mind. Now, I will say that there were some who reported that they think that one of the back loops is supposed to pop off so you can slide it over easier and reattach it. No, if that would be the case, it's broke. And wouldn't you have it, when I was done recording the review, it popped off and broke. Little bit of super glue should be able to help out, but nevertheless, just be careful here. Now, we get 6 extra keys, and here is what they're going to look like. So you get 4 keys, and you get multiples of each. Can you put these on the chains that you get with the shackles? I don't really know. I haven't tried, but they're neat extras for you to have. And for the extra hand parts, by default, Jacob is going to come with sort of weapon holding hands. He's also going to come with those same hands with hinges that move up and down instead of in and out. He's going to come with splayed hands, and then he's going to come with slightly different gripping hands. They're sort of clawed. Kind of weird, but nevertheless, all hands are appreciated. Now, with that being said, here are going to be some neat pictures that we have, just some sort of action shots with a couple of withheld. And then, if you are familiar with the Figura Obscura line, we do have a magnetic flap that is a part of the box, and as the box and accessory know, however, included is usually a backdrop, which you can use for your shelf or to create some scenes. So if you don't know what this is, there might be some pieces of media you should maybe check out. Maybe check out Muppets. It's my favorite version. Now we'll go ahead and do a quick 360 spin view, so this way you can get an idea of what an apparition looks like, a ghost. I will say that I feel that the accessories, again, sans the exclusive hidden accessory, they're okay. I do think that, for the knockers, okay, cool, and not those knockers, they're pretty neat, and the extra keys are cool, but I do think that maybe we could have scrapped those for an additional accessory. Considering this is meant to be literally a ghost, and a lot of people, even in like some promotional pictures, which I do actually have pulled up on my phone here, the intention is for him to be like floating or something along those lines, or even sitting in a chair. It would have been really, really neat if we could have him get a stand. If we could have had a support stand, or even we could have had like a multi-stand system, so this way all of the items attached to the shackles, the chest part, could be floating as well. I think that would be better appreciated, but c'est la vie. I don't make the rules, I just review the figure. It is what it is. If you're looking for effect parts or support stands, I got videos to help you out, though I will say Tamashi's stage line has plenty of stands which will work here for this guy. Now, when you get this out of the box, if you open up the safe, here's the spoiler, you do get a new skeletal helmet. Here's the pictures. However, mine broke right out of the box. Yep, I didn't even know it was broken, actually. The chain there, it's supposed to go like on the chin. There's supposed to be a chain that ends in a lock. So it's supposed to fit the idea of Jacob and the chains and the locks and so forth. But the actual chain and the lock was outside of the little baggie that the helmet comes in. So I thought it was just an extra chain and a lock that was included for him, until I actually looked into this a little bit more and I saw a couple of reviews that showed that that was actually supposed to be looped in. So yeah, there you go. Now, with that being said, cool. I think it's another idea that you can have like a skull knight demon apparition thing here, and that's pretty fun if you did want to do that. And of course, because of swappability, you can use this helmet with some of the other figures that you might have in the line. And now here's a size comparison for you so you can see exactly how big he is. I would say he's not much different in size compared to some other Mythic Legion figures or some other Figura Obscuras. So if you're looking to throw him on the shelf, chances are you know exactly how tall he's going to be. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. What I will say is there were some other items that were thrown in the box, perhaps some exclusive stuff that for Horsemen may or may not throw in with future releases. And if you are buying this on the aftermarket, because I do believe it is entirely sold out, so I don't know if I'm going to get any customer service support, especially since this shipped a while ago, but nevertheless, I just covered the figure for this purpose. Is this worth buying? I had a lot of quality control stuff, and I'm kind of bummed. I don't know. Personally, what I would do at this time is I would wait to see what a retail incentive or appreciation one may look like. Word on the street is we're going to get a Monkey King and then the mask, the red one they did for Halloween this year at some point later. So I would imagine they may be doing this, but you didn't hear that from me. That's alleged to be in Minecraft. If that one turns out better, and I would maybe get that one. As it stands right now, I just got this because I like Christmas. I like the source material, so I picked this one up. Otherwise, knowing what I know now, I would probably skip on this one. And that's kind of a shame because I like Figura Obscura, and like I said, I like Christmas. But for a completionist standpoint, I'd probably say it's the most disappointing one in the lineup so far.